performance to close out this month. Let's get to the floor show and spin it forward to March. Two seasoned traders, Teddy Weisberg and Alan Nuckman, join us. I don't know, Teddy, is this the sign, especially considering the Russell was down more significantly, same with the NASDAQ, to press the buy button or to hold off at the moment?
Well, I'll tell you, I think you can describe the market in three little words, Liz. Uncertainty breeds volatility. And we've got a lot of uncertainty, and that's the overriding issue for the market. In terms of the techs, we really saw kind of a precursor in January where the Dow, January was a good month. The Dow outperformed the composite almost 2-1. And I think that market breadth, that positive market breadth, continues in February, even though February has been a difficult month. Today's the last day of the month. Perhaps what we're seeing is simply a little window dressing because it's the last day. But the tech sector has been in trouble. The earnings have been decent, but the problem is they haven't been spectacular, and they just look tired. We had two really spectacular years. They led the market in 23 and 24. Nothing goes on forever. Perhaps it's just a rest period for them.
Yeah, and even though we got actually some pretty decent data, Alan, the PCE, the personal consumption expenditure, the so-called Fed's favorite indicator, across the board for January, everything met expectations. Everything from the headline number to the core, which excludes the often volatile food and energy prices. So what did you see in the options market? Did you see any indication that there would be some bargain hunters here coming in?
Well, what I've seen in the markets overall is that we're in a trader's market. We're in a bull market, obviously. We've been trading sideways since the election between 5,800 and 6,100. A breakout of that range, we tested. It was only last Wednesday that we made all-time forever highs. But a breakout and follow-through, that targets 6,500, 6,400, which is almost 10% up above. So looking at the options markets, I'm still seeing pockets of bullishness in individual stocks. We've seen some big profit taking in Palantir, Walmart, some of these Cisco, some of these stocks that had gone absolutely straight up. But I'm seeing pockets of option accumulation, as I like to call it, the smart money. They are looking at something in the options world in JD.com, Merck, and Intel, and all three of those are set up for about 30% moves that can break out of these current technical patterns. So I'm liking what I'm seeing in those individual stocks, but otherwise, the market made a key reversal last week, making new all-time highs, but had a lower weekly close. And like Teddy said, we're kind of tired at these levels. We need some sort of bull catalyst to get us to break out one more time.
We're kind of breaking out right now, Teddy. The S&P is at session highs, the Dow up 271. So that freak out in the middle of the day after the sort of the meltdown in the Oval Office appears to have kind of disappeared at the moment. I think you're right. We may have some window dressing because it's the last day of February. But one of the things that jumped out at us was that the best performer on the Dow Jones Industrials was a consumer name, good old-fashioned Coca-Cola. Does that signify that we are seeing that, I guess, rotation, transition out of the momentum techie names into some basic consumer staples?
Yes, Liz, I absolutely think that's what's going on. I mentioned January before, where the Dow outperformed the other averages almost 2-1. And I think we continue to see that. The overriding problem is this uncertainty, and the uncertainty clearly breeds volatility. The markets do not like uncertainty, and we're getting plenty of it out of Washington, good, bad, or indifferent. But that aside, I really think it's a positive that the market breadth is spreading out, and you're seeing, for the moment, defensive sectors. We've seen some of the food stocks. You mentioned Coke, some of the pharmaceuticals, even the financials have all been doing better. Not every day, but they're doing better. And I think on balance, that's good for the market. The bigger problem is the uncertainty, and I don't know where that puts us. I think for the moment, perhaps it's just good to stay on the sidelines and let the dust settle, and let's see where we are in a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months.
Well, is a good sideline trade to stay in maybe short-term T-bills? Not that 2-year is a short-term T-bill, but it fell below 4% on that yield. 4%. So right now it's at 3.99. That's the 1 month at 4.30. So, Teddy, I know you've liked parking money when there is uncertainty into some of these treasuries, because that's a decent yield, right?
Listen, it's terrific. And we don't have to be reminded too many times that it was only a couple of years ago, Liz, when we were getting zero on our money. So whether it's 3.9 or 4 or 4.2, the short-term treasuries is still a great place to hide. And if you can't access the treasuries, and most people can't, there's always the money market funds. But we're getting paid to basically be on the sidelines, which was not the case for many, many years. So in a way, you have the best of both worlds. For those folks that don't want the risk, there are the treasuries.
And for Alan Nuckman, if you like the risk, where do you go? Really quickly here.
Well, I just want to point out that obviously we're still in a bull trend, and people want to use these dips to lean on leverage points, lean on support points, and look for these markets to come back. Like I said, something like a Walmart, which has had a nice pullback. Everybody's been waiting to get back into those stocks. So, follow your plan, be disciplined, and we'll know. But like Teddy said, I think the most important thing here is this uncertainty has not led to a market sell-off that it really could have. If you look at the VIX right now, it's still 30% below the high that we saw back in December 12th. So even though the markets are trading sideways, the VIX right now is lower than that spike. And that uncertainty feels like it's there, but it's not really there mathematically just yet.
Alan, Teddy, hold on tight. It's been a roller coaster day. We'll see what March brings us. Thanks, guys. Good to see you. 2025 market darling Fubo TV was up